Hi, we are Vivian Consulting, and today's client is Kaiser Food Products. With an achieved market share of about 60%, Kaiser has been an expanding and adaptive leader in the baby food market. But with the decrease in birth rate, sales projections have changed greatly. Pressures around the industry to find more demand for products and to further expand their product line have exposed organizational issues within Kaiser that we have worked to address.
The two key issues at Kaiser are a lack of trust and problematic sales plan goals. This lack of trust can be seen between the regional level and district level, as well as from the salespeople towards upper management. Examples of this include Jeff Boyar, the district manager, saying that, quote, if they knew, they'd up our plan, leaving us no time to sell, no time to develop new customers, and no time to make cold calls or anything, end quote. Albie Siege, a salesperson, says that, quote, Jay keeps the people in Atlanta from taking our bonuses away from us, end quote. The employees have major trust issues, and this creates an absence of organizational citizenship behavior. The district level doesn't trust the regional level to treat them fairly and not take advantage of them. The regional level doesn't trust the district level for withholding information. This lack of trust is resulting in Jay's sales team performing at the very minimum expected of them from higher management. They advise newcomers to not, quote, waste their efforts on the company, end quote, by performing anything more. The salesmen are not engaging in extra activities for their larger organization because they do not trust that they will get anything in return. At the individual district level, the employees provide in-role as well as extra-role performance. For example, the sales force, along with Jay, conducts all-day meetings once every 2 months to come up with new ideas for selling. And they help coworkers by taking on larger sales quotas than needed when another coworker is sick. Mistrust runs deep throughout Kaiser, and Florida remains the primary place where creative task performance is practiced, along with interpersonal citizenship behavior, but this does not emanate throughout the rest of the organization. As for the sales plan, it causes a widespread negative effect on the company because it consists of difficult to obtain goals that are made without lower level employee input. This is leading to problems for Kaiser, such as a lack of motivation. As Neil Portnow puts so eloquently, quote, it just doesn't pay to bust your ass, end quote. Portnow feels a lack of motivation to work harder when upper management is constantly increasing the sales quota with each new sales plan when he continues to earn the same amount of money. Districts are also avoiding collaboration for fear that their innovative ideas won't be properly compensated, and they'll have to work harder to compete with other districts. This behavior is negatively impacting the overall region in meeting their sales goals. Continually increasing goals creates a field for competition and employee dissatisfaction, which we can see through the lack of motivation and the withholding of beneficial information from other districts. Kaiser should work to fix this issue to avoid risk-taking behaviors, as well as the use of unethical methods to try and reach these goals. The key issues and the subsequent recommendations are based off the following assumptions that we concluded from analyzing Kaiser. First, we assume that the New York office sets goals and expectations for the regional office who we are consulting for. Second, we assume that Cooper, who we are consulting for, does not take the initiative to explore other offices unless new ideas are needed and she specifically needs something from them. Third, we assume that there was a prominent division and competitive-like nature between the offices. Fourth, we assume that there is a large disconnect between upper management and the lower-level employees when it comes to goals. The main reason that the district team is distrusting of higher management is because the different levels lack interpersonal relationships. To remedy this, our recommendation is to change the company's culture, and we have two strategic ways of doing this. First, Kaiser Food Products should implement a system that encourages frequent communication between each level of the organization. Employee satisfaction and performance increase when organizational support is perceived and when they believe that management actually cares about them. We recommend at least one large conference each year for all levels of the organization to come together. We also encourage frequent communication between immediate levels, holding at least 2 meetings per year that replicate the meetings Jay has with his sales team in Florida. Communication between levels will foster an environment that makes lower tiers in the corporation feel as though the higher-ups care about them. Trust will increase between the levels, encouraging the salespeople to freely share their ideas, thus benefiting the entire company. The second reform should be to place less emphasis on bonuses. Kaiser should change their pay ratio so that the majority of employees' earnings are guaranteed salary, and small bonuses are given for reaching the desired goals. Florida employees are withholding valuable information because it gives them a buffer and lets them feel secure that they will be able to make a decent living that year. They are scared that if management knows their sales tactics, they won't have this buffer anymore. Increasing the base salary and drastically decreasing the importance of bonuses will reduce fear by making the bonuses an extra rather than a necessity. There is distrust from salesmen because they believe that those higher up in management are money hungry. This trust would diminish if employees were promised a livable salary that isn't dependent on sales goals. After removing the fear of lost income and distrust for the higher management, employees will be exceptionally more willing to share valuable information that will benefit the entire company, which would decrease, if not entirely eradicate, the counterproductive behavior of production deviance. In order to keep the goals from getting out of hand in the future, management should use the SMART goals method when making the sales plan by making sure to go through the acronym to ensure that the goals are meeting the expectations of each component. The goal generation process should incorporate input from employees at each level of the company, especially the salespeople. As Cooper mentions in regards to developing new ways to sell products, quote, "The best ideas usually come in from the field, from the salespeople themselves," end quote. The salespeople generate the best ideas because they are the ones who are directly doing the work on a daily basis. They know what a realistic goal for sales is. Using the salespeople's input when generating the goals of the sales plan would increase their sense of responsibility and connection to the company and its purpose. The company would also be gaining insight into what salespeople go through and can learn ways to better benefit and develop their company as a whole. The sales plan goals shouldn't be developed just from the input of salespeople because they do not have the business acumen that the top management does, but their input could be valuable in creating a more attainable goal that makes everybody happy. The effectiveness of both of these recommendations can be tracked by sending out surveys to the employees through their company email in order to get feedback. For the first solution, the survey should ask questions pertaining to the employees' feelings towards management, what they perceive management to feel towards them, how they feel towards other districts, and how they feel about helping those outside of their immediate team. It should be sent out directly after the changes have been implemented in order to set a benchmark, and in the future, they should be sent out on a continual basis to gauge the employees' changing feelings and attitudes towards others within the organization to ensure the recommendations have long-term effectiveness. The surveys should be sent out at the end of each year before the new sales plan is generated, as well as halfway throughout the year. The surveys for the second solution pertain to overall goals and should be sent out at the end of each year to everyone in the organization. The company should generate questions that give them a sense of how employees interpreted the goals, for example, if they thought the goals were fair, and to find out if they felt like their opinions were adequately considered in the development of the sales plan. If the company follows this plan and implements these changes, Kaiser Food Products will see results that benefit the company in the future.